Cats aren't born knowing right from wrong, so you'll naturally want to discipline your cat sometimes. But do you really know how to scold a cat correctly? Doing it wrong is not only useless, but also damages your relationship with your cat. It's essential to know how to discipline a cat and correct their bad behavior. And to achieve this, you must hold one truth above all else. You must never ever strike a cat. Violence is never the answer when scolding your feline. In this video, we will explore the best ways to train your cat so you have all the necessary tools to get your cat to behave properly. But before you think about punishment, you should always reward good behavior. This is crucial. Actions like starting to use the litter box, scratching on the scratching post instead of the furniture, or using their own toys should be rewarded. To do this, you can use petting, cuddles, or treats. Any positive reinforcement you see they enjoy will work. Think about this. A good reward given at the right time is far more effective than scolding them when they misbehave. Think about it for a moment. Positive reinforcement isn't just a fancy training term. It is the strongest bridge you can build between your world and theirs. A well-timed treat, a gentle scratch behind the ears, or a warm cuddle is far more effective than any shout or scolding. When your cat chooses the scratching post over your expensive leather sofa or uses the litter box correctly, they are making a choice. Even when they engage with their own toys instead of your household items, they are learning. By rewarding those choices immediately, you are speaking a language they understand perfectly. You are telling them, yes, this is exactly what makes me happy. But we also need to be fair. Before we label a behavior as bad, we must ask ourselves if we have met their basic, primal needs. Cats are driven by deep-rooted instincts that they cannot simply ignore. Scratching, for instance, isn't an act of rebellion or malice. It is a biological necessity. They do it to sharpen their claws, stretch their muscles, and mark their territory. If you don't provide a sturdy, attractive scratching post, your cat won't stop scratching. They will simply find the next best thing, which usually happens to be your favorite armchair. Being a wise owner means staying one step ahead. It means providing the right tools, the right toys, the right posts, the right environment. When you align their instincts with these resources, bad behaviors often vanish on their own. Remember, a well-timed reward is your most powerful tool. You aren't just managing a pet. You are providing a home where they can truly be a cat without ever needing to be scolded. When it comes to correcting a cat, there is one golden rule that changes everything. Timing is not just important, it is absolute. You see, cats experience the world through a very narrow window of the present. They don't reflect on the past the way we do, and they certainly don't connect your current anger to something they did while you were away at work. Imagine coming home to find a broken vase or a scratched curtain from 2 hours ago. If you drag your cat over to the mess, point at it, and start scolding, they won't feel guilty. They won't think, oh, I shouldn't have knocked that over. Instead, they will simply see their favorite human acting aggressive and unpredictable for no apparent reason. This doesn't teach them a lesson. It only teaches them to be afraid of you. To truly communicate, you must act in the exact moment the behavior is happening. Not 5 minutes later, not even 30 seconds later. Right now. So how do you intervene correctly when you catch them in the act? It starts with your voice, but not in the way you might think. You don't need to scream, and you definitely shouldn't cause them to panic. What you need is a firm, sharp, and consistent no. It should be short and authoritative, a verbal boundary that cuts through whatever they are doing. The goal isn't to make them feel terror. It's to signal that you do not agree with their current choice. But what if the behavior is more personal? What if your cat gets a bit too excited during play and nips at your hand? In this case, your best weapon isn't a loud noise. It's your absence. The moment teeth touch skin, say a serious no, and immediately stand up and walk away. End the interaction. No more play, no more petting, no more attention. Cats are social creatures that value your company. By withdrawing yourself, you are sending a clear message. Aggression leads to isolation. If you bite, the fun stops. Over time, they will realize that keeping their claws in is the only way to keep you around. Sometimes, however, the bad behavior is happening a few feet away, and you can't reach them in time. This is where the element of surprise becomes your ally. Cats are incredibly sensitive to sudden, unexpected sounds. You can use this to your advantage to create a disagreement with their environment. A sharp clap of your hands or the rhythmic rattle of a tin can filled with coins can be enough to startle them out of their mischief. The trick here is that the discomfort should come from the noise, not from you as a threatening figure. You want them to think, every time I jump on this counter, an annoying noise happens, rather than, every time I'm near my human, they get scary. Reserve these sound-based corrections for specific, stubborn moments. Don't use them constantly, or your cat will eventually just tune them out. The ideal balance is a life filled with rewards for the good things, a firm no for the clear mistakes, and a well-timed distraction for the rest. It takes patience and it takes repetition. But by staying in the present moment with your cat, you aren't just disciplining them. You are finally learning to speak their language. But what happens when you aren't there? How do you maintain these boundaries when you're at work or fast asleep? This is where we move from active correction to what we call passive discipline. Think of it as setting up silent, harmless traps that allow the environment to do the teaching for you. The goal is to make the forbidden zone itself feel unpleasant, so your cat decides, all on their own, that it's simply not worth the trouble. Cats are incredibly tactile creatures. They are very particular about what touches their paws. If your cat has a habit of jumping onto the kitchen counters or delicate shelving, try using double-sided adhesive tape. The moment they land and feel that sticky, tacky sensation, they will naturally recoil. To a cat, it's a confusing and annoying experience, and they will quickly associate that specific surface with a feeling they want to avoid. Aluminum foil works in a very similar way. The crinkling sound and the strange metallic texture are often enough to make a cat think twice before stepping there again. They aren't being punished by you. They are being discouraged by the furniture itself. We can also use their powerful sense of smell and taste to protect our homes, and more importantly, to protect them. There are areas that aren't just off limits, but actually dangerous. Electrical cables are a prime example. If your feline friend has a habit of chewing on cords, you can apply substances that have a bitter or citrusy scent, like lemon or a specialized anti-bite spray. Cats find these flavors deeply offensive. By coating a cable in something that tastes terrible, you aren't just saving your electronics. You are creating a life-saving boundary. It's about making the dangerous choice the most unpleasant one. With these passive tools, the house becomes the teacher. You don't have to be the bad guy who always says no. Instead, you are quietly guiding them towards safer, better choices, ensuring their well-being even when you're miles away. Finally, we must remember that a cat's behavior is always a message. Instead of just asking how to stop the behavior, we need to ask why it is happening in the first place. Is the litter box tucked away in a noisy area? Or perhaps it hasn't been cleaned recently? A cat going outside their box isn't being spiteful. They are likely stressed or uncomfortable. Think about their energy levels too. Even though cats sleep for many hours, they have a wild spirit that needs an outlet. If they are climbing the curtains or nipping at your heels, they aren't bad. They are bored. Spend time every day playing with them. Use a feather wand, a laser, or a favorite toy to let them hunt and burn that extra fuel. And here is a golden tip. If they are scratching your furniture, place a sturdy scratching post directly next to the spot they've been targeting. Make the right choice the easiest one for them to make. Sometimes a sudden change in attitude can even be a sign of pain or a hidden health issue. A quick trip to the vet can often solve a behavioral problem that was actually a medical one all along. Correcting a cat is never about a single moment of anger. It is a slow, steady process of building trust. It requires consistency, immense patience, and above all, a heart full of empathy. You are not a drill sergeant, and they are not a soldier. You are partners sharing a life. By choosing to redirect their instincts with love rather than force, you aren't just fixing a habit, you are strengthening a bond that will last a lifetime. Be patient, be kind, and watch as your little rebel turns into your most loyal companion.